This is a rough cut at ideal asset operations. We can change the example because right now we're using OEE, but I wanted to get this to you, Chris, and also to Dave Western for some comments. ThingWorx and ideal asset operations. Today, when you look at production assets, they're run from a number of separate viewpoints such as production, maintenance, quality, supply chain, etc. And each of these viewpoints have different measures. Production might be OEE or TEEP, maintenance might be condition-based maintenance, quality might be right first time, etc. Supply chain might be schedule attainment. So in the current state, fixed systems in production are responsible for a narrow slice of operation, and they each capture transactional or time series data. As an example, asset operations, perhaps SCADA and OEE, production operations, manufacturing execution, QA for product quality, asset maintenance, computerized maintenance management, or enterprise asset management or maintenance. Schedule would be SCM, and material management would be in the domain of ERP. So each of these systems contains transactional data or time series data that's separate and not related. In addition, there's collaboration going on between the people within individual groups and across groups. And this information, this collaboration data, is rarely captured or almost never related to the systems of records in the underlying systems. So let's look at a typical problem. I'm running in production, and all of a sudden one of my production measures, which could be OEE, is low. So how do I identify what's the cause of my low OEE? Well, the OEE system provides three statistics or three fractions: performance, availability, and quality. So if I look into it and it says, hey, it's actually product quality is my issue. How do I actually find out what the quality problems are? Well, the OEE system doesn't know what the defect is. That's stored in the quality system. So I need to get data from that system. I might need to get a login. I might need to put a request into IT. The data in that system is stored under different context than the information in the SCADA and OEE system. So I've found my way through, and I've finally gotten the information back from the QA department. The major cause of defect was low fill height in the containers. What could cause low fill height? Well, let's think of possible root causes. Maybe there was maintenance performed, or maintenance that was not performed that should have been performed that could affect fill height. Maybe there's something about this specific product we just produced. Maybe it has a different viscosity. Maybe the material department substituted new materials for this. Maybe there were unusual process conditions, and that's maintained in the SCADA system. Or maybe there was some interaction between the schedule. Maybe we're running two dissimilar products back to back, and there's some interaction. So the way you'd solve that problem today is you decide on what relation you think is the most important, the one that's most likely to provide you the insight you need to solve this problem. So let's say you say, well, let's just link the detailed QA records to the OEE system. So what you do is you build what we call a fixed app fast, which are also known in the industry as composite apps. Two of the founders of ThingWorx had built a company that built the first manufacturing composite application platform. So we actually know a lot about this space. But as you go on, eventually you need to model every possible relationship. So the number of composites actually approach infinity, and you get into a very, very complicated infrastructure. Connected apps using the ThingWorx connected application platform take a completely different approach. The first thing we do is we model the physical world. We model your production assets. And then we model how the existing systems of record and their key data is related to the production, to your physical assets. Then when you build applications on ThingWorx, you build connected applications. You provide user experiences that allow them to interact with any of the business processes they need to, plus collaboration elements, which allow them to store their unstructured or tribal knowledge concerning these processes. So in operation, a production operator might enter a comment into the operator's blog. This entry then becomes tagged with all of the context necessary to relate this at some future date. this would be tagged with the current WIP ID, the product ID or the product number, which line it was on, the time, the date, etc. So let's say a piece of equipment has a fault. So when the equipment faults, it would typically create a blog entry to allow collaboration around the fault if it were significant. This entry is tagged with a WIP ID, the product number, the fault code, etc. Again, so now I can relate this fault to the product, the WIP ID. If there are any quality events, I could relate it to that. So the next activity, the maintenance system would get a work order would be initiated from ThingWorx. A blog entry would be made, or a comment to that blog entry would be made indicating this is when the maintenance work order was initiated. These entries would be tagged with WIP ID, product number, fault code, etc. Once the maintenance work order was completed, another blog comment would be made, again tagged with this information. So ThingWorx relationship model and its dynamic tagging creates a connected intelligence environment. So the model, when you design your system, contains relationships between elements which are leverageable in applications and in discovery. At runtime, these dynamic links, these tags, increase the value of the data being captured. So you're building an operational data store that can help you answer questions more quickly and discover patterns more easily. The two tools we provide for that, one is Squeal, Search Query and Analysis Language, which allows you to, in a Google-like fashion, to mine this connected set of information in ThingWorx. And when you find an opportunity, Mashup Builder allows you to quickly build new visualizations, new analytic scenarios to let you fully understand what's going on and to capture that opportunity. And this results in really two things. One is in problem solving. It gives you the ability to continuously capture information about any problems you have. Traditionally, people have systems that capture only information on their most sophisticated or most critical problems. And so they have no information on the vast majority of their problems. With ThingWorx and its connected intelligence platform, it captures all of the information, human, system, and time series data about every problem so that you can use that using our search tool to help you solve problems faster in the future. And then finally, it also gives everyone access to all of the information within the ThingWorx operational data store. So this allows you to identify new patterns and opportunities more quickly, and then with Mashup Builder to capture those. Thank you.